Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted the number 1 would be Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Number 2 would be Joker. Number 3 would be Zombieland Double Tap. Number 4 would be The Addams Family. And number 5 would be Gemini Man. And I got all 5 of my predictions right for this weekend. Thank goodness for that. I'm really happy that I got my predictions right. A bunch of you also did. So here's a montage of the winners of their predictions. Alright, now that that's over with, let's go over what happened in the overall top 10. Number 1 was, of course, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I think no one was expecting this to not get into the number 1 spot, but I think some people might be surprised that it only made $36 million for its opening weekend. Originally, it was projected to make around $45 million, but it kind of dipped below that, and it's $33 million below the opening of the first Maleficent movie, which had an opening of $69 million. Now, worldwide, it is sitting at $153 million, so I'm pretty sure that eventually these numbers will build up and it will double that $185 million budget. That's around $370 million in order to be considered a success. So I think eventually with this worldwide numbers, it will be able to get there, but it's definitely not a great start considering how much of a surprise success the first movie was. Number 2, we have Joker, still holding out very well, making $29 million, adding to a domestic total of $247 million. Now worldwide, it is also sitting at $737 million, which is fantastic. It is the highest grossing film worldwide and domestically for Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro, which is quite an achievement. And domestically, it is $7 million behind outgrossing The Hangover Part 2 and $30 million behind outgrossing The Hangover Part 1 for Todd Phillips' filmography. Luckily, though, this weekend worldwide, it has just become Todd Phillips' highest grossing film ever, Joker has, which is quite fantastic for Todd Phillips, obviously. I'm sure he's really proud of this, and I think definitely eventually, either next week or maybe after that, we'll be seeing it become his highest grossing film domestically as well. So we'll have both of those locked down like Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro. Number 3, we have Zombieland Double Tap, actually doing a little bit better than the first movie. I was honestly kind of worried as far as like how this movie would actually do since it's been 10 years since the first movie, but it actually opened with $26 million, which is $2 million higher than the first movie's opening of $24 million. So this is actually a pretty good thing. Worldwide, it is only sitting at $32 million, but I'm sure these numbers can eventually start to build up as well. It's only on a budget of $42 million, and with an opening like this, I think it's very easy that it will double that budget, even if it is just a little bit higher than the first movie. I actually do think this is a really good thing for this movie, and I'm honestly pretty happy for it. I'm sure a ton of the audiences were happy too, because this movie, despite all the faults that it has, I think it really does a good job of recapturing what made that first movie so special, even if it isn't as good as that one. I think audiences are probably going to be pleased with that and probably going to see it more as the weeks go by, hopefully. Number 4, we have The Addams Family, making $16 million, adding to a domestic total of $56 million. This is $8 million ahead domestically of the Addams Family Values movie, so that's pretty good. They outgrossed one of them, and it's $57 million behind outgrossing the first Addams Family movie. There is still no worldwide total yet, so I can't really judge about the worldwide numbers, but domestically it actually was still able to outgross Addams Family Values, which is really good. It's probably not going to outgross the first movie from 1991. I'm just going to put that out there right now, but at least it was able to outgross Values. I think that's a pretty good sign for it, and hopefully maybe worldwide numbers will start coming in to boost these numbers as well. Number 5, we have Gemini Man, not holding over pretty well, making only $8 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of only $36 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $118 million. Though that is $20 million behind its budget of $138 million, like I've said for every movie, it still needs to double that to be considered a success, and it's looking like it's just not going to have the staying power that a bunch of other movies have had before, so kind of a bummer, but it looks like Gemini Man is going to be another big flop of this year. Number 6, we have Abominable, making $3.5 million, adding to a domestic total of $53 million. As far as the DreamWorks animation chart is concerned, it just outgrossed El Dorado by $3 million, and is $3 million behind outgrossing the Wallace and Gromit movie, which will be happening by next week, and worldwide it is sitting at $128 million. Not only is this $22 million behind doubling that $75 million budget, being considered a success, but worldwide it is $3 million million ahead of Captain Underpants, the first epic movie from him by DreamWorks, and 43 million behind outgrossing Ants. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I feel like Abominable is kind of slowed down enough to where it might not be able to do that, but it is outgrossing a lot of the lower tier DreamWorks animated films, so that's at least something that it's not at the very bottom of the list. Number 7, we have Downton Abbey still holding out, making 3.08 million, adding to a domestic total of $88 million, and worldwide it is sitting at 164 million. Obviously, this movie is still doing very well. It was just able to push out of its number 7 spot Judy, which is now sitting at number 8, which is not as much of a success as Downton Abbey is, at least I think, because there still is no recorded budget for this, but the numbers are still pretty low considering it's kind of in limited people's radars. It made 2.055 million. This and number 9 are pretty close as far as what they made this weekend, but that adds to a domestic total of $19 million. Maybe the budget is like around 5 million or something, and they actually doubled it a long time ago. Like I said, I'm still not really sure. Maybe this is a success, like a very limited success, or maybe this movie cost a little bit more. It's really hard to tell, and it's really hard to kind of talk about this movie without knowing that budget. So let's move on to number 9, which is Hustlers, making, and like I said, very close to number 8's number, 2.050 million, adding to a domestic total of $101 million, and that is 7 million behind The Upside and 12 million behind Bad Moms, his overall domestic run for STX. But worldwide, it is sitting at $125 million, and it just got into the top 5 worldwide grosses for STX. It's 3 million ahead of The Upside. It is still 5 million behind Bad Moms Christmas, 20 million behind The Foreigner, 58 million behind Bad Moms, and exactly 100 behind Valerian. I think maybe it could potentially outgross Bad Moms Christmas if it doesn't drop drastically. I think it definitely will, but as far as these other top 3ers in the worldwide chart, I don't think so. But the fact that it got into the top 5 in general for STX is a pretty good thing. And closing out the video, number 10, It Chapter 2, making 1 million, adding to a domestic total of $209 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at 449 million. So it's 51 million away from being at $500 million worldwide. It wasn't able to get there while it was in the top 10, but it still made a ton of money. It's still doubled, tripled, quadrupled its $79 million budget, so I'm happy for this movie's success, even if it isn't as grand as the first movies. Now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. This might be a little bit tricky, but here it goes. Number 1, I'm going with Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Number 2, Joker. Number 3, Black and Blue. Number 4, Zombieland Double Tap. And number 5, Countdown. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.